Hello, viewers out there. Welcome to another exciting, enlightening, and interesting episode of Agribusiness. And today, I have a guest in the house, and his name is Emeka. Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you very much. My name is Alako Emeka, and I'm a sociologist, of course, a development expert, a social researcher, and a social analyst. Thank you for having me once again.
Thank you once more. The last time we did have your show, we discussed a little insecurity and how it led to agribusiness losses and so climate change. We try to find a relationship between those two variables. And we did see that we find time to further talk to the topic since we were out of time last. So we want to revisit that and see how we can talk deeper. But this time we're talking in the context of Nigerian security challenges and the economic pathway. And the economic pathway in this light we want to look at is agribusiness. We've identified in the last episode the various insecurities and the job losses. I did not watch that video and refer to that video, but this is a continuation of that. So now I want to delve into how we can use agribusiness as the tool to come out of this insecurity that is let that be there. So in the course of the video, we'll talk a bit on history and the popular technique and the religious crisis of Nigeria, just extreme the myths that know uh, Nigeria one, and even one, also that's the clearly there. We also look at some of the solutions that can be provided, that is looking at job creation, that be as one of the solutions, another solution. Then we also talk about the kind of agri strategy that we can invest and where the government can come in. Then we'll make the suggestion on what you can do right now in the agribusiness space. We're going to begin please by teaching on into the agribusiness space. So, Mr. Emeka, thank you again for coming to the show.
Thank you.
So, the history and pockets of ethnic and religious crisis, what can you talk to? What can you say about this? Kindly throw some light into it because some of us are wondering if we are really one, because some people feel we are not one, others feel we are one. So, what can you say?
Okay, thank you very much. It's good we're starting from this light. You know, ethnic conflict in Nigeria is the area where the first test of our unity came to bear. I would say that we have overflowed the issues of ethnic rivalry and ethnic conflict. And of course, some of the major factors that influence the different challenges we've had on conflict or ethnic conflicts, as the case may be, I would say were first, artificial and poor delineation of our land spaces. You know, there are certain boundaries you get. All you see is stuff like bamboo trees separating one locality from another. When you have these sort of things, you would always have challenges of encroachment, you know. So when there's no proper delineation. However, for a country that is said to be united, I feel that the issues of ethnicity should have died down and nationalism should have been a top priority. But you know, the events from the um, 1966 coup up until the Civil War, you know, and all other coups that have taken place, all undermine Nigeria's unity. Unfortunately, our leaders have done not so well in trying to bridge this gap of ethnic rivalry. We have found where people still consciously identify first with ethnicity before the nation. And this will continue to bring these sorts of challenges. it is now even more prevalent, especially since after the 2023 election. How that came to be is another thing entirely. But the reality is that while there were some reduced tendencies of conflict and ethnic rivalry, we saw a reawakening to that. We saw that raising its ugly head again, where there's a whole lot of cause. Of course, this is not, we're not also forgetting the issues of ethnic um, secession cries in recent times. The IPOB challenges, the Ududua Republic, and all of that. All these ethnic identities is challenging the fabric of our unity and, of course, posing serious threat to our development.
Okay, that's well said. Um, okay, every country has more. It's Australia with that is also particular in Australia, but now it's people meeting more and some other parts of the US have the same. So that is not really me. It's just one of those things that happen in our, it's one of those things that happen in our everyday. Although to buttress that we see the leader of the Conservative Party came over in identifying as a Yoruba before in Nigeria. You know, so I see that coming. But from where I see it, I'm like, is because these things I want to say, maybe I want to ask, is it politically motivated or otherwise? Because this thing is more prevalent, it's more pronounced when we get to the electionary period, when they start politics. That's when we get to hear more bits, you know. So more, is it political or is it more of unemployment?
Okay, so this is a bit tricky, but then I will situate it to first economical. You see, politicians will always look for loopholes. They hardly do create the problem. They only take advantage of existing challenges. So what I would say is first, the huge problem of marginalization, increasing poverty, and like you said, unemployment. These are the substantive factors that have never allowed this issue to be addressed. So when politicians come to take advantage of them, it is because the problem is there.
Mm.
So they might use it as a tool to win elections. And at the end of the day, what do? They abandon it. Because whoever had used it for electioneering advantage had never saw or see reason to address the problem because it will always be another advantage for them in future. So, but the problem is if we had addressed our economic woes, especially from the period of 1983, when Nigeria's economy started nosediving and got worse in during the after the structural adjustment programs was invented under the IBB regime. If we had addressed these economic issues, we may not have found ourselves where we are today. Unfortunately, Nigeria unemployment rate, forget the current MBS methodology that have been employed, we have about 42.5 unemployed Nigerians. Young people are willing to work, but because they are jobless, they will be harmed to for all of these issues, for promoting ethnic conflict. But let me say this: ethnic conflict is more or less a little challenge compared to the monster that we have currently. The bigger issues of insecurity, the bigger issues of kidnapping, the bigger issues of banditry, the bigger issues of farmer herders clashes. These are the greater monsters affecting Nigerian security system.
Okay. Um, to answer that, you mentioned things, marginalization, you mentioned unemployment and poverty. Okay, so let's take it one at a time. But for want of time, let's talk about next. So if we're going to talk about we have statistics show that a whole lot. and get around more so 67% youth population, out of which over 40 million children are unemployed. What solution can you provide that will now address the job issue, which we feel will trickle down to settling some of the security?
Okay, so now this takes us back to why we're here, agribusiness. This is the surest solution for both short term, medium term, and then can serve for a long term. But you see, the problem is before we prefer agribusiness solution, we must address the insecurities because these insecurities are the major factors undermining the success of agribusiness in terms of production, in terms of supply chain, in terms of consumption. Farmers can no longer go to farm. The supply chain is affected because transportation is even more challenging, not to talk of the cost, but because of fear of kidnapping on the road. We do not have train services that can move goods. We still use normal vehicular transportation system. People can get kidnapped on the way. And then this now accounts for high food prices. So you see, it's a layered problem. So the only sector that can adequately address Nigeria issue of unemployment is agriculture. It's our most potent area and the area we must take serious priority over.
Just to add to that, just to add to that, you know, the space we have, Nigeria, climate, weather, is such that it's so unique and blessed such that every client, every local, everyone have comparative advantage in a particular commodity of it. True. You go down up north, have batsman that can do more grains.
Yeah.
As you go down south, you have land not that fast now, but because of more rain, you can do more of tuber, you know. And it's Nigeria is so blessed that almost every household, even in your backyard,
Yeah.
you can farm. But we want to say intentional because statistics also show that uh, in advanced nations they have less than three, hovering between 3 to 5% of their population actually in agriculture. But in Nigeria, the reverse is that we have about 70% of Nigerians in agriculture. Now, that does not mean that the advanced nations are not. What it means is that when it comes to active production,
Yeah.
just that mega 3 to 5% are in the agriculture. The rest are hanging around the value chain, those hanging in processing, those in marketing, those in transportation, in food dealership, industrialization, packaging, and a whole lot. People have understood that this commodity, when produced, the post-harvest loss is reduced and it gets to the final. So again, it's high time Nigerian government and Nigerians take their lives in their hands and know that though we are blessed with natural gas, well, crude, oil, but it has over the 30 years or how many years of experience, it has not given the dividend of the development that it wants. So it's high time we go back and not so going back to farming will create more jobs because you can create these jobs in the various local government where the youths are. So the jobs are created in that local government where they are. So it's a good way to do.
Okay, sorry, not this not to cut you short,
Yes.
but as an agricultural expert, especially in agribusiness, I want to now be the examiner to ask you. Now you have given us some statistics to say 70% of us are into agriculture. So how do we um, address the issue of food insufficiency and lack of adequate agribusiness investment? if we have that much into agriculture, why do we have this level of unemployment still? Why do we also have food insufficiency? And why do we have a little or less of agribusiness investment?
Okay, now in Nigeria, because of the peculiarity of the country, having 70% population, they have some challenges which are no insecurity is one. But aside that, they use fragmented land. Most of these 70% are farming on less than a hectare.
Wow.
They are farming on some 0.3, some 0.6, less than a hectare. So when we talk about 4% in the developed world, we are saying that 1% is doing 20 hectares. So that 1% doing 20 hectares, that means 20% in Nigeria will have to come together to get that 20. We'll not even get 20 hectares in some cases.
Wow.
Number two, when we talk pick rice, for instance, or even maize, let's say rice, we are still our input, the input we use currently in Nigeria. The Seed Council have done a lot. Seed Council have done it, National Seed Council have done it. But more still needs to be done. Now, there is a huge knowledge gap. Farmers are not that educated, literacy. So some farmers up to now are still struggling to know what is the difference between grain and seed. So, and the quality of your produce rely heavily on all the cultural practice, inclusive of the seed you planted. So currently, a hectare seed gives us overs between 2.5% to 4 and 2.5 tons to 3.5 or 4 tons in some cases per hectare for rice. While in advanced world, they are doing 6 to 15. In some cases, Asia are so blessed, they can do that. They can do 6, they can do 7. Those statistics will say they are doing more, but let's look at what we know is practical. They can do 6, they can do 7, they can do 8. But we are still back. So that is double. So if a farmer here does a hectare and is going to get less than maybe half or a quarter of what his counterpart in Asia. Number three is post-harvest losses. So most of these things are vested will be lost on the way. They don't even get the industry to even take it to. And cases where they even get to, they are, because of lack the knowledge gap, they are not properly priced. Fertilizer utilization is still very low. But that's just aside because so it's not really more people going into agriculture that is the case. It's that this 70%, the energy is channeled properly so that they are not all into production. Some can be in processing. There's a whole lot of activity in the value chain that they can key into. And now narrowing it down to okay, so develop the insecurity and job creation in agriculture means if we expand this, one bundle it so that all program of the government is not directed to the program is directed to processing. The program is directed to transportation. The program is now directed intentionally to industrialization. So, so that is it. So we are producing, but our and currently we still have the ratio of tractor utilization to a hectare. I think in Nigeria we are still doing about 300 farmers to 1 hectare compared to advanced world where maybe 10 to 30 hectare. Yeah, the statistics around that. So how many farmers can even access farm machinery services or even own a tractor? So these are some of the
So
challenges.
it also means I would also want you to talk on how large modernization in agricultural practices is vital.
Yes. Now, just to talk to that, now that I'm interacting in the agri space, the use of advanced technology is still in a way we are coming, but it's still low. It's still low.
So, but we're already utilizing some of these modern technologies in agriculture.
For big farms.
So how many of these big farms would give us the sufficiency that we need?
We are nowhere. For big farms, Because at the moment, small how many smallholder farm? So we have 70% in Nigeria. So a smallholder farmer who is managing 1 hectare cannot afford to employ services of a drone company to apply agriculture or to take pictures or to check farm health. They can't afford that. So the bigger farms may be able to afford those kind because once we begin to go into precision agriculture, it means you now begin to have modern plant. Once you calibrate your planter and you drive on it, maybe it's mounted on the tractor or the detached planter. If you have calibrated to plant at 26, maybe 75 by 25 say, cm for plant spacing, it will do that. But if you do that manually, you can't get it. So first of your plant population is not is not accurate. So if a hectare is supposed to take 10,000 stands, you may be doing 7,000 stands or even above 10,000 stands. So when you do above 10,000 stands, it means that the resources on the farm will not be available to go around. So these are all those things. But now, it now comes with time, these farmers cannot really afford this. But there is definitely a problem that implementation of IC gradually is coming in. And that is also a place someone can come in, watching this video, you want to invest. As because what we'll be discussing in the next 10 to 15 is to talk to investment opportunity. And this is an investment opportunity. Can you come and identify a community or a state and provide machinery service that farmers
Can
can
access.
patronize, right?
Yeah.
For the,
Yeah.
So going forward, let's throw light on agribusiness because the crux is if people are gainfully or even if it's not gainful, but employ somewhat, it will be difficult to drag them and use them for ethnic or religious reasons. I'm not saying that. This could aside production, there is a whole lot of industrialization that is in that.
So there's a lot of attention in crude and other service areas and less in agriculture. Why? Because something else has come in to reduce the attractiveness of agriculture, which is insecurity.
Yeah.
So before we emphasize this agribusiness, can we say the government have done enough in addressing insecurity? No, more still need to be done. There are lots of persons, I'm sure, that are interested in investing into various chains of opportunities in agriculture. Like there are those who may be interested in investing in the machineries, the technologies, and all of that. There are those who may be interested in investing in the transportation system for agriculture. But some of these persons may be scared of their investment. What is the level of assurance that they have that insecurity would not also?
That's why we always do the adoption is still, but it's an advocacy. And I also say, okay, we'll look out for the video or look out for the episode where we discuss agricultural insurance. Advanced world. It is known, they know that they should go and insure. Even somebody just driving a car, even somebody just buying a house.
Yeah.
Once it's an asset, they go insure and pay the premium and service it. But insurance adoption or capture in Nigeria is still low. So insecurity is, yes, we know it, but insurance can come in. So you now, as you're coming to get it, look at what the insurance covers. And there are risks or insecurities that come, and you can find a way to work at the timing. Now the government, we know they are doing the best government is doing because this for the past 1 year, let's just they've been in major fight, but the no insecurity will fight back. The insecurity is also fight. It is just for us to now put Nigeria first. Tell all politicians, tell us people that, tell all greedy Nigerians that can we be selfless?
Mm.
Because the insecurity is persisting because it's benefiting some people. So can the quarters put national interest ahead of their personal? And again, what we're still saying is that somebody that is jobless is an easier pick than someone that is gainfully engaged.
Yeah.
And we're saying agribusiness is a way to go. And let's really talk kind of quickly to some kind of agribusiness that they can look into. Government have done their part.
Yeah.
But what can they do? They can do trade and enablement. So what can they do? Talking to you kind of agribusiness. You can look into market, input supply, input dealership, marketing of agriculture. And the table administration did say you're going to bring back marketing, but that I don't know. If that comes now, it's looking for price regulation. So look at that.
I think the people can also look at investment in agriculture in building silos
Yes.
and other preservation mechanisms.
Mm.
There are lots of products out there that just get
Spoiled
because of poor preservation or because of the outright lack of it. In the whole of Abuja and say significantly almost the whole north central zone, the biggest agricultural preservation silos we have is the one along the Lokoja Kaduna Express Road, precisely in Sheda,
built by the Good
the administration. I don't think there's any other within the North Central Zone that is as large as that. Even that is not enough.
Mm.
Private investors can come in and build stuff like that.
Okay, but if private investors coming into big side,
Yeah.
so we also have the issue of culture. So I buy into building silos.
Yeah.
Farmers have a culture. So how do you get farmers to take their stock and put it inside? Then we come to what we call warehouse visits. Now, there's an activity now called a warehouse visits. It's a concept. It's a concept that can help address that.
Mm.
So the warehouse visits has a way of working around that because it comes with it's a full system and it comes with how a modality how it works both for the farmer and both for the private investor. So it's a way to go as a go. And of course, if you need more clarity on warehouse, you can always reach out to us to find a way to create a model that will work for you depending on your geography. We provide our consultants, we provide our services, and you can take it. We've done that in other places and it has worked. And we can do that. Because once you have that warehouse, there's a lot of advantage to the farmer, to the processor, and people within the value chain that they can tap into. So that will deal with the culture, do a lot of advocacy around the benefit, and also helps addressing the food insecurity challenge. Because the food insecurity challenges in Nigeria as it is today is not a 365 days food insecurity.
Okay.
Because once we get to harvesting period,
Yeah.
the price of food commodity it may not drop drastically, but it drops. And aside dropping, we experience glut. We have a lot in the market that we cannot consume, and farmers just want to sell because they don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah.
So it now means that the food insecurity, when it's kind of systematic, is intermittent. It's not something that
It's a continuous thing.
it's a continuous thing. So that warehouses can come a way to help. And okay, talking to a business opportunity now, the youth out there can look into, or in Nigeria can look into, or even someone in that. You can actually move commodities within Nigeria from where it is more prevalent to where it is.
Yeah.
You can actually buy some of this commodity when it is abundant store. Bring it up in us when it's reduced. when the pilot's done. So now you may need professional counsel on how to go about it so that you don't store and lose everything that you have stored. So what other ways? You have mentioned one.
Okay, so you can also help us emphasize the idea of um, available market. I think it's an area of investment in agriculture that people look less of. We see a lot of marketing, online marketplaces for different products, for hair, for bags, for shoes, for clothes. How many of them do we see in agriculture? So we still have most of our farmers sell face to face. I think this affects the ability of farmers to get their product out there in the market. A lot of people need commodities. They need certain farm products. But because of location, because of this insecurity, some of them would not want to pass through a particular, but the farmer who has the assurance and know how to move, can't we have websites built for farmers to do we even have applications for where you can shop for your farm products, goods, and then it will be delivered? Can people invest in this area and let us get our market values of farm products through an online system as well? Build very good websites, applications, or technological system where people can come and make demands of goods and move them all around the world.
I buy into that. There are some programs and also for the federal government, state government, like we said earlier, also not all programs or projects should be directed at because our problem is not only production.
True.
There is value addition program and problem. So projects and programs should be targeted at it. Then this now comes to just to add to what you have said, the knowledge gap.
Mm.
We're still dealing with a lot of illiteracy to the farmers. So how many farmers have an Android? So we thank God the growth enhancement scheme of product development.
Yeah.
Did an e-wallet system where we can actually get fertilizers very expensive because we know most of these farmers use edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after his administration, there's policies on us. Buhari's administration, we don't even want to get
but before we I think during the Anchor Boas program for rice production, something about Android phones was
Okay,
were
yes,
distributed to these farmers during the Buhari administration. So what happened to that?
So the Anchor Boras program,
Yes.
from where I see it and from my analysis, if there is freedom of information in Nigeria,
Yeah.
I think it's CBN lost their primary responsibility. You can't you went to CBN that should do commercial activity and bigger activity and now doing micro activity. You're coming into buying. What it consigns CBN? Excuse me if you're outside the country. That's local. What is the business of CBN? What it consign, right? What is their business with lending to banks? They want food to be surplus. No, that is not within their purview. You don't do direct lending to farmers. No, because you cannot chase back that money and get it back. Now you went ahead to share Android to give out Android. How many farmers are this? So the question is, who were the farmers that got it? Were they real farmers? But that is a good initiative. It is with action, but not CPN. CPN should they are they should rather look into existing projects and build from where these projects are. So now working on what the Jonathan administration has done, and you want to now use Android, of course, because in case of using Android, you now have to start teaching farmers how to use WhatsApp, treat them how to browse. That will take a hold because some of these farmers are already in the stage where they cannot learn. Not because they are there, but they have more current economic realities around hunger than learning how to use WhatsApp. But that does not stop us from creating advocacy and creating the awareness and putting them in small groups where they can learn how to share knowledge, even if it's just to share knowledge and all. Knowledge in the local dialect, in Hausa, in Yoruba, in Igbo, that they can easily read, if possible, right? And relate with as against But now that should have been done. I agree with that so that we can onboard the adoption of ICT. But that should go through financial service association in the communities.
Okay, so a friend of mine is asking if he develops a website, so to say, a distribution, marketing distribution system online for farm products and have farmers um, come into this program. Is it a good selling point? Others who wants to invest in such kind of things so that goods to be readily available, can be easily sold. Some of these goods that get spoiled in the market is because they are looking at the nearest purchasers.
Okay.
So there are people in Enugu that need products that are in Plateau State, say Irish potatoes, for instance.
Yeah.
And until they transport this product to Enugu State, they might not get. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure the number transported to Enugu State is enough for the available consumers. So if we have, where I can quickly just log in and say, I need so amount.
Yeah,
Is it?
their
Yeah.
website like that. Even, I will not promote any brand right now,
Yes.
but their website, which I will not promote now, but their website that provides such service. But now to maximize the service,
Yeah.
more work will need to be done on one storage.
That takes us back to the silos.
Yes,
The
yes, storage so
yeah.
that you can't because if you don't, if I'm going to order something online,
Yeah.
you are most likely going to use a picture that will be very clear, if beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, the other time I was in Kanu and I went to a location called Promos Liberia. These people are very good in bell pepper, in chili production. And now, if you're watching this video, I would recommend you watch the video where I gave a brief analysis of investing in pepper and a very good watch and look into. And when they harvest their pepper, they don't have where to keep it. So they build some platform, concrete, and put it on it. Some they use mat, they pour it on it. Fresh pepper. And some just on the bare floor. They just sweep it and pour it on it. So it's from there people come to load it, they put it in sack and take it even as far as Niger to sell, right? As far as down south, that's where it moves from. So if we have a good storage, so because taking pepper and other perishable goods, for instance, pepper, you harvest weekly, and you can harvest weekly for 8 weeks, and for 8 months, I mean. So if this person have a good storage that is conditioned to keep this commodity in its fresh state, then when you order, you can guarantee that what is sending to you will be near what it is. Now that comes to the next thing. Transportation is actually a good place to invest too. If you are going to are there cooling vans that can transport this perishable in its right state to where it's going to. So it's a whole system. I did a research one time for NISA. NISA, that's the same guys that manage Ankobora. And we're looking at transportation corridor of perishable goods from Jos to Lagos. And the recommendation that research brought out was two major recommendations. Cooling van, cool vans or cool vehicles or whatever you call it, AC van that can move agri-produce with vegetable in fresh state. Then number two, eradicate the multiple checkpoints on the road. Because police is just something else. Nigerian police. They are securing, they are doing a lot, but it's just something else. Because when you want, if I'm going to move commodity from Jaws, Irish now, yeah. And let's say what I have loaded, what maybe the worth of it is let's say 100,000. And I'm going to pay about 50,000 if I get there on the road in checkpoints. It makes it not a good event. It affects the final sales price. So here there are websites that do this. But the major challenge the farmer has and the buyer has is to get the right soil. You know, we have this, what I ordered versus what I got. So we don't want that in the agri space. But it's actually a good thing that you have. That's where the commodity board comes. So that you sign on farmers, you sign on market. Really started. And also, can we say, is there a private firm that can pick up the bold step and create a farmer list? We don't have a company. Almost every government processor is creating farmer list. So we don't have a unified one where we can say, this is a farmer list. These are all farmers. And we are commissioning consultants 2 or 3 years to do movement in and out because the list has to be updated. We have to see, are they new entrants? Are they those that are exited the system? So I agree with you that we should embrace more modern technology, and that's just like we have trading platforms, right? People can also look at how to trade agricultural commodity online, and that can be a business, can be a platform that you invest in and you make into money.
So we may not be able to exhaust all of the solutions,
Yes, no, no.
but I feel our viewers can get better information from certain platforms. So you may want to read out these areas where viewers can get this information and so that they can have enhanced knowledge. Yes, about other things that they can do, invest in agribusiness. Because like we said earlier, it is the most potent economic pathway to solve the problems of insecurity, unemployment, and all of the challenges.
The agri space is huge, it's vast, you know. Yeah, if you invest pick a particular enterprise, at least Nigeria should be known for something. If you pick oil palm, for instance, you pick oil palm within 3 to 4 3 years to 5 years, you have started harvesting your country. And you can do that for 15 years. So from that oil from the palm fruit, you can get gold, right?
Yeah.
Starting from the night, you can get gold. You can get palm kernel oil.
Oh, yeah.
You can get the palm oil itself.
Yeah.
Then you can use some of those things for other usage.
I think the palm kernel nut itself is also a product of of food in some localities.
And that people. Why is it big that
Yes.
So if you unbundle that section now, so imagine the people that have been employed if you now have 20,000 hectares. For instance, take Enugu. I pray this gets you because Enugu is well positioned for farmers.
Very well.
So imagine a governor in this is idea of farm estate to just take a look at the environment and say, okay, give me 20,000 hectares. Give 15,000 hectares to generate palm fruit for the next generation. If it gets 8 years, it will still be in its time.
Yeah.
Give the remaining 5,000 hectares to build a massive processing plant. Give additional maybe 3,000 hectares to them. Take 2,000 to build residence for people managing the facility. So it's all in one local.
Yeah. I think the Akwa Ibom state government started this some time ago, but I don't know how far they've gone with it.
I know Edo State is
also investing in that.
The highest definition of it now. They are doing very well. They have over 70,000 hectares in the production power. So this, and oil palm, Edo, Ondo, Enugu, and some states, we still import palm oil.
Of course. Where we have the potential to have in surplus production.
What is Nigeria known for? That you can now say, okay, we are known that we are thinking about either the highest also producer of cassava.
Yeah.
But how many we have been advocating that there should be inclusion of it in bread? Should take 20% inclusion in meat with flour.
Yeah.
But we're still so the cassava we produce is just going to have food and then so on.
As much as, and that takes my mind to what we call akpu in some quarters fufu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a huge market. I know a place called a place in Sheda along the same Lokoja Express, Kaduna Lokoja Express Road, where massive akpu processing goes on. However, this is done locally.
Mm.
locally.
No modern equipment.
No modern equipment. The women just get, and to be honest, the level of employment it has created in that community is massive. Women from morning up until night are there. Some are peeling, some are there's just one machine that grinds for them, and then they extract and do their bagging, do their local. So, and to be honest, the number of vehicles that come to line up in those areas too, it's not even enough.
You don't even want to go into cassava. If you pick cassava, so from the cassava roots,
Yeah,
the root crop, from the root, the peel
yeah,
serve as food for animals,
yeah,
pigs,
yeah.
right? When you dry, you can get the chips for industry. Ethanol comes out from it, right?
Yeah.
Starch comes out from it, depending on the percentage how you want to put it. Starch comes out. Cassava flour comes out from it. So it's a whole so
before we talk about Gary, which is
Gary,
which is our one of our bedrock of food.
Gary and milk.
It has saved generations.
If you've been to a boarding house, you know. So agribusiness is a way. Let's find a way to wrap, or let's find somewhere to close.
I think we should chip this in before we close.
All right.
Next time we'll also have to discuss so that we don't consume everything in cow skin as for me. Like maybe find a time where we can unbundle this market structure. We see what we call pomo and see what is available. I think Nigeria will eat almost everything.
Yes, we have is it NILES now in Zaria, the Nigerian Institute of Legal Research Institute. You go there, the government has invested a whole lot to process hides and skin. But they are starved of the natural the resources, the inputs they need.
Why?
We are eating pomo. And empirical evidence shows that pomo is just fiber. It's almost nothing. It does not give you anything. So creating jobs again through the livestock industry, making use of the hides we generate. Because if you ask someone to invest in producing leather products in Nigeria, a major challenge, where am I going to get the input, which is heavily dependent on the hides and skin?
So we also think that cattle rustling and all of these insecurities is also affecting the people. So it's a discussion for another day.
Cattle is just a make the challenge is that the
consumption
awareness. So how do we tell our Western brothers to live palm oil? It's almost difficult, almost impossible. So thank you once more, viewers, for staying with us watching. So a quick take home for you is insecurities are there. Every country has that. But the government can come in and create more jobs through it. Private individuals can come in and create more jobs through it. This way, if we go down to reduce the insecurity, because one way or the other, they are hand in glove. One is fueling the other. Yeah. But we know that if we strategically address insecurity through agribusiness, job creation through agribusiness, the insecurity will go down. Right? Very correct. Because there's no oil in Sokoto for now, at least for now. But there's agriculture in Sokoto for sure. There is no oil in Kogi State for now, but there's agriculture with vast lands, fertile lands. So why not look into agriculture? Invest in value chains that have several byproducts. Cassava is there, oil palm is there, rice is there, maize is there. Invest in storage, invest in processing, and source for funding. Look out for the video where you can get one. Because one of the challenges you see, where do I get one? Look out for the episode where you discuss how you can get one. And if you want further guidance on how you can get one, you can always reach out and we'll guide you, provide professional counsel. Thank you very much for staying to this time video. Thank you very much for joining us today again.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. Now, if you watch this video to this time and you gain something useful to you, please do like, do subscribe, and recommend, share the channel as well. Comments, engage, interact in the comments. comment section. We want to hear your views. We want to hear your criticism. We want to hear your concept. Thank you.